What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another week of Hero or Zero here on the Heroes for Hire podcast. My name is Sean Mean, and joining me as always is a very healthy boy today, Mr. Conor Lawler.
Still sick.
Still sick. It's been a few days.
Body but not mind.
The body is willing, but the spirit is weak.
Dead by snooze too. I was told it was your week for Hero or Zero, so that's why I turned up, because I was like, I did Jason Todd last week. It's a day off.
That's
Sean
true.
will regale me with a story of, if anyone doesn't know about Hero or Zero, is the show where we choose one comic book character every single week. We talk their good points and their bad points, and we generally just give you a bit of a rundown of everything to do with that character. So I normally talk DC characters, Sean normally talks Marvel characters. Sean, it's your week, and you normally have such good characters that you cover, other than all of those other characters rather than Darwin.
Wow, Darren's... Oh, okay. So, yeah, sorry, I got confused there for a second. You pulled it back.
See?
You pulled it right back. Yeah, see, what you did last week, Conor, is you took one of the most interesting anti-heroes in all of comics, and you somehow managed to wrap up all of their history within a 45-minute report. Not an easy thing to do, I'll guarantee you. So what I thought I'd take... no, I didn't go... I went villain. One of the main villains of one of the biggest... or smallest characters in Marvel Comics. So,
right,
we're talking about a golden age villain for Hank Pym's Ant-Man.
Women were his villains back then, were they not?
Oh, no, they pose no threat to him.
No, if anyone has read those comics, Hank Pym, not a nice boy.
Not a nice boy. And then his villain, his enemy... is it one of the main Ant-Man villains is Egghead, Conor.
I know Egghead.
Do you know Egghead?
I thought you were going to say women's rights was the main villain for his comic books, but no, Egghead.
Egghead,
Good.
famously terrible villain, but one of the only solo Ant-Man villains that there really is. His power, he is a man with a head shaped like an egg, so it fits into my thing of characters with weird shaped heads.
So he doesn't have any like special abilities.
Well, he's a big nerd, which
I mean that's fucking nothing. I'm a big nerd, but I don't want to take over the world, like.
But he's an egghead, Conor. In the 1960s, that was the worst thing you could call a man.
But like, it's not like you're an egghead. Like you have so many braids. Your egg. You need an egg-shaped head because you are clever.
No, the head came first and the smarts came second.
The braid came second.
Yeah, so Dr. Elias Starr was a scientist working at an atomic research centre for the government of the United States of America. He got caught trying to smuggle drafts of an atomic project and the word they use is to probably sell on the open market. So they come to him and they're like, listen, we know you were just about to sell government secrets. We could throw you in prison. And he's a prick and he's like, oh, you can't prove it though. So they're like, we can't, because you didn't actually sell them. So we're just going to fire you from this cushy government job.
You can't arrest a man for a crime that hasn't happened yet.
No. And if you try and make him do it, that's entrapment.
Exactly. But it is technically conspiracy to commit a crime if you have evidence that he's going to do it. But if it's just hearsay and rumour, Sean, I mean, he could take them, clean them out.
Oh, absolutely. Clean out the US government. He doesn't, I must say. He gets fired. The very next day, meets up with a load of crooks because Ant-Man at the time, super popular in Marvel Comics. So he was the best superhero. So everyone was just like, oh, he's basically stopped crime in New York. There's no way for us criminals to do crime anymore. We've been trying to beat the Ant-Man, but we can't do it. He's stronger than us. Maybe we need to be smarter than the Ant-Man.
So you would logically think, well, we'll get someone who's genetically modified to like be more intelligent, like who's incredibly intellectual that we could get in, rather than somebody who just has a big fucking head.
No, Conor. He goes up and says, I'm pretty smart. And they're like, okay, let's see what you got, Egghead. You know how you talk to people.
Well, back in the day, his best gal, she was having a soda pop beside him.
So what Egghead does, is that he learns everything there is to know about ants by watching one documentary and reading one book on ants. And he learns how they communicate. And he's like, right, So they don't communicate with speech because they can't speak. And they don't communicate with sign language because they don't have hands. Go ahead.
I have my arm up just for you, just to say, before he watched that documentary, did he think ants could speak? Because that's...
The scientific method, he just had to rule it out, you know?
So he thought ants were going around going, here, Jim, build that, will you, behind me? And he could hear that. Yes,
and he thought that Ant-Man could actually talk to ants.
Oh, right, okay. Not that he could talk to ants.
No. He can't. Right. He's trying to develop a way to talk to ants.
At this point, I'm questioning everything because this lad's a fucking moron. But go on.
It gets much, much worse. So what he does is he determines that it's pheromones. That's how ants communicate with each other. Now, for the record, ants also do communicate through. They'll make like noises with their legs and shit like that. So that's just a wrong ant fact. But what he goes to an anthill.
Put a jingle for the ant fact.
Ant facts? No jingles ever on this show. He goes to an anthill and he talks to the ants. And he's like, hey, here's what I want you to do. You're not going to be slaves to... He's saying all this to the ants. You're not going to be slaves to Ant-Man anymore. Exactly, yeah. Yeah. You can be free. You can rule him. What you need to do is tell him that we're going to rob the diamond from this museum at this time. And then I'll handle the rest. Says all of this to ants, presuming that the ants will tell this to Ant-Man. So all of the research he just did about how ants communicate means nothing.
So you're telling me he did a load of research and then he went and just did a fucking William Wallace speech to the lads in hopes that they would betray the lad who's called Ant-Man.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And so what he does, they're at the museum at the allotted time. And how do you catch an ant, Connor? Correct. Flypaper.
No, but surely flypaper's for flies.
No, because Ant-Man is very small. And so Egghead lays out a load of flypaper to trap Ant-Man.
Oh,
and
clever.
Then... Clever. Very, very clever. He didn't plan on the fact, though, that ants... They told Ant-Man what was up. And they were like, listen, this guy's trying to set you up. And so...
What is going on? What is going on here, Shaun?
This is 60s Ant-Man shit, my friend.
Right.
This is... There's no rules anymore.
There's no Attenborough at this point.
No.
Anything goes.
We don't fucking know what ants do.
The 1996 film Ants hadn't come out yet. Nobody knew.
And so what Ant-Man does is, prior to arriving to the museum, he took a bath in oil so that the flypaper wouldn't stick to him. Then the ants bring in human-sized flypaper and catch up all of the crooks.
Sorry, what? Sorry, hang on. Two things. One, Ant-Man took a bath in some oil and his machinery just kept working. Just absolutely fine.
I will say he took off the suit, had a bath in oil, then put on the suit that was not coated in oil. So I don't know.
But then what is the point of the fucking oil then?
Why bathe in the oil?
Why bathe? He just loves oil, does he? I don't know. And then secondly, he somehow got the ants to build a giant human-sized flypaper trap.
Yes. Well, I think he had regular-sized flypaper and made it big.
Okay, that's much more understandable. Okay, so regular, and then he used his pin particles to make it big. Okay, I'm with you.
I think that's how it worked. But anyway, all the criminals are caught except for Egghead, who is listening as Ant-Man is telling the police what went down. And the one thing in all of the research that Egghead did is he misunderstood the nature of ants. See, they don't have concepts. So
all of his research.
They don't have concepts of greed or vanity, Connor. They fight with Ant-Man as allies on the side of justice.
But, wait. No, but if they don't have concepts of greed, they surely also don't have a concept of justice, because they are just fucking ants. You
might say that, but why would they help Ant-Man otherwise?
Because he's the only one that can communicate with them and has probably mind-controlled a big bunch of ants to do whatever he wants.
No, it's because they're good citizens. They're all a part of New York, baby.
So fucking Egghead himself has come up with a plan that it's actually just because they're sound.
Yeah, pretty much. That the ants The ants have a personality and goals, but not for evil.
But not for evil. So they have only a personality for some traits.
Yes.
You're saying this is the guy that's intellectually going to challenge Ant-Man.
Bit of an egghead. Yeah.
Cool. I'm with you.
So Egghead barely escaped capture, and he went into hiding in a poorhouse. And in the poorhouse, there's these two guys, and it's like, oh, bet that guy's so dumb and he has no brains at all. Oh, he's just some dumb idiot. And that's how the comic ends.
So, I mean, to be fair, they do have a point.
Yeah, like everything so far has indicated that none of it works. He does another, experiment, another attempt at destroying Ant-Man, in that he pretends that he's a zoologist and he puts on a display of wasps to lure the wasp out for publicity purposes. And then Ant-Man
are wasps into greed?
No, actually, as well. They're very good folks.
They're also sound.
Yeah. And so Ant-Man and the Wasp team up, defeat Egghead, put him in prison. He then tried... So he's tried twice himself now to take out Ant-Man, who is his nemesis.
Is he? Is he, though? Because I don't think Ant-Man knows who he is.
Name one other Ant-Man villain.
The one from the second movie.
No, in the comics, that's an Iron Man villain. That's Ghost.
Oh, fuck. The guy from the first movie.
Darren Cross.
Darren Cross.
Made up for the movie, I'm pretty sure.
Okay,
in that role, of course.
Sorry?
In the role. And also, that's a Scott Lang villain. It's the Hank Pym villain we're dealing with.
Fuck yeah, no, I don't know any Hank Pym villains.
No, there's only one, it's Egghead.
It's not, though.
He decides he's going to trick Spider-Man into beating Ant-Man and the Wasp for him.
Why do all of these really dumb villains, their plan is to trick Spider-Man into doing things?
I think because once it gets to a certain point in the story, the villains start underselling. And so they're like, how do we juice up this fucking Egghead
because Spider-Man
story?
Is Spider-Man. Okay,
put Spider-Man on the cover.
Cool.
So what he did, he used ants to relay a false message to Hank and Janet that Spider-Man was setting out to defeat the pair. This distracted the heroes, allowing Egghead and his gang to commit a series of robberies. However, Ant-Man's ants informed him of the double cross, and they teamed up with Spider-Man to stop Egghead.
So his plan was to tell the ants somehow. So he just goes to a fucking ant farm and just starts talking to them again.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I heard a rumour that Spider-Man wants to fuck up Hank Pym and the Wasp. That's what I heard.
Because as we've established, the ants won't work for greed, so you need to trick them.
So he needs to trick them into thinking that they're protecting Pym.
Yeah.
And so he's
by
like,
telling
right,
him this.
I heard that Spider-Man has a crowbar and he wants to beat the fucking piss out of the two boys, the Wasp and the Ant-Man. And he just lets that go and then simultaneously commits crimes while I'm assuming Hank Pym and the Wasp just kind of sit around shitting themselves because Spider-Man's going to beat the fucking life out of them.
I think that's it, yeah, that the plan is just wait till they're distracted enough and then do all the crimes.
Because you would be terrified. If Spider-Man was after you with full force Spider-Man, like, he could absolutely just end the two of them.
Yeah, if Spider-Man decides he wants to kill someone, that person is going to die.
Yeah, okay, cool.
So, he was sent to jail and his obsession with Ant-Man increased even more. He then escaped from jail and began building a machine to steal intelligence from people. So he's like, I'll just get smarter. It's just don't worry about it. It's probably a helmet or a ray or some shit. To test, he captured his own niece, Patricia. So,
look at Patricia.
Hank Pym showed up, rescued Patricia, and sabotaged their machine. There was an explosion where Egghead tried to use the machine on himself, but unbeknownst to Hank Pym, Egghead survived. Then, to make Patricia pay for his defeat, Egghead.
To be fair, it was her fault.
It was entirely her fault that
how
went
old is
down.
Patricia?
Patricia's like 20 at this point,
She's a
I think.
fucking snitch, is what Patricia is. That's what she is.
Do you know what to do with snitches, Conor?
Hardship.
What do snitches get?
Stitches. Shot.
Incorrect.
Stitches.
A bomb in her car.
Sorry, I forgot the rhyme. Snitches get a bomb in their car. Yeah, cool.
And so now Patricia survives the explosion, but she loses an arm. I don't know. People survive explosions every day.
How many people do you know that survived explosions?
Patricia did.
Fuck, he's got me. He's got me on a technicality.
So Ant-Man, who's going by Yellow Jacket at this point, had a suspicion that the attack may have been orchestrated by Egghead, tracked him down, beating him mercilessly until he confessed to maiming his own niece.
But what did maiming Patricia do to Ant-Man?
He wanted revenge because she fucked up his plans.
But Hank Pym doesn't give a fuck if a woman gets blown up. He doesn't care, lad.
True.
He'll blow many a woman up for the crack.
That's his morning. That's his Wednesdays.
He wakes up and he might blow up Janet Van Dyne. He might throw a few C4s into her bed. Who knows at that point? Just how he feels.
So he basically just beats him and he says, like, you're a terrible person, puts him in jail again. He gets out.
Do you know how bad you have to be that Hank Pym is on the right side of history?
When Hank Pym is the moral high ground, you have fucked up.
Yeah, you've gone wrong, lad. You've gone really wrong.
So after a while, because he's a bad dude, Hank Pym is disgraced from the Avengers. They don't like him anymore. He's a bit
he blew up Patricia again.
So
for revenge for not dying the first time.
Well, because what Egghead does is he formulates a plan to destroy him utterly. Egghead designs and builds a bionic arm and approaches Hank Pym, saying he wants to make amends for his past. He built the new arm for Patricia, but understandably, Patricia doesn't want to see him. So
keeping him at arm's length.
Very good, Conor. Mm-hmm. One of your best.
He wants to give her a hand.
Stop it now, okay?
Nah, no.
So, Egghead's like, look, I just want to make amends. Will you, a hero, take the arm to Patricia so that she can at least have a working arm? And Hank Pym was like, fine, okay, I'm not with the Avengers anymore. I may as well do this. However, the arm was a booby trap, controlled by Egghead, with a bomb that would explode if someone tried to remove it.
Please tell me Patricia's other arm gets blown off.
I might have to disappoint you on that one.
Oh.
But then it becomes like Speed, and so Egghead is giving Hank Pym a load of demands, and he has to follow them or he's going to blow up Patricia. So he sends Pym to a military base in Nebraska to steal adamantium containers, forces Pym to fight his other partners, the Avengers, and what he does...
In my head, by the way, the Avengers don't question that. When Hank Pym starts fighting and they're like, this is regular Hank Pym. He's not even being controlled by anything. He's just a dick.
This is it. And what happens as well is that Hank tries to explain what's going on. However, the arm also implanted false memories into Patricia, so everything Hank Pym says, Patricia's like, no, that's not true. He threatened me.
This is the greatest plot device arm anyone's ever come up with.
It's a very useful story too.
Arm.
So the Avengers take Patricia at her word, and they also don't like Hank Pym, so he is sent to jail. This is actually, like, if it's another villain, this is a good plan, because during the weeks that followed, Egghead, during the court case, made it seem like Hank had relations or like associations with a load of criminals, and then
I thought you were going to say with Patricia.
Not with Patricia. No. Patricia would never. And then Hank is sent to jail, gets those criminals to break him out of jail, so it looks more like it was all planned from the beginning.
Right, okay. That seems like a first good plan he's come up with.
Yeah, and then when he's out, Egghead makes Hank work on a research project to decrease the human aging process. Because
does that have to do with anything?
Something that I haven't addressed up until now is that Egghead's main motivation, other than killing Hank Pym, is that he's 55 and he's trying to come to terms with the fact that his life is, as he puts it, nearly over.
He's having a midlife crisis.
Yeah, and he's just making it everyone else's problem.
So his plan isn't to take over the world, it's to somehow stop aging.
Yeah, he just wants to not be 55 anymore.
Well, I mean, he's 56 soon, I suppose.
Yeah, he can go forward. That's no problem.
Yeah.
So he was working on this device. However, no one, Hank Pym was just doing something with a machine. And what he did is he made a device that would overcome the false memories that were implanted in Patricia and other Avengers and all this kind of stuff. So the Avengers learned the truth and they come to take Egghead in and to save Hank Pym. What he does though is that Egghead pulls a gun on Hank Pym, which pretty good move. However, Hawkeye shoots an arrow into the gun. Egghead pulls the trigger anyway. It explodes and he kills himself.
He stopped the aging process.
No, it's door number C.
To be fair, he found a new way to stop it.
And he comes back and stuff later on, but I think that's the perfect end for him. Just he dies like an idiot.
So his plan, I mean, Patricia's got to be delighted that he got blown up.
Oh yeah, it turns out there was never a bomb in the arm at all either. It was all a bluff.
What's the point then?
Just wanted Hank Pym, because I think he realised at a certain point, I'm not smart enough to stop aging, but Hank Pym might be.
But also, he didn't look into whatever Hank Pym was doing or any of the machinery or anything like that.
That scene in the first Iron Man where they're he's building clearly a suit of armour.
Yeah,
everyone's like, oh, that rocket must be coming along.
Yeah, it's coming on real good. Why does it have a face?
Yeah, what's going on? Why is there a wrist there? What's this glove for?
So Egghead is dead. Well, he died that way, and I suppose when Hank Pym died out of comics, I think Egghead kind of probably went the same way.
Yeah, and then Ant-Man started getting cooler, better villains. And so in Egghead, he technically a genius. He's good at robotics and electronics and physics and all that kind of stuff. He had insect control devices, mind control devices, robots. He had egg-shaped devices which had various properties, such as an egg that explodes.
Perfect. That's just a grenade.
An egg that electrocutes its victim. And an egg which bursts into a bolo, ensnaring its victim.
Right, okay.
And that's Ant-Man's biggest enemy.
I don't know if he's big enough to carry Phase 4.
I don't think he's been in the movies at all yet. I think
they're waiting. They're waiting till Kang dies out. He's the next big guy coming up.
Is he's waiting in the wings. This is my thing. Egghead for Secret Wars, I say.
What if he's a Skrull?
Oh no, that would have such an impact on the world.
So what we've learned here today is that not only is Hank Pym a bastard, his villains are also bastards.
Yes, and somehow worse than him, which is also...
Yeah, it's tough when you have a hero that's also real bad, you have to get a villain who's just morally worse, so you gotta blow up Patricia a few times.
Yeah. Also, Egghead is in the MCU.
Is he?
Yeah, he is Ghost's dad. You know, the one that kills himself immediately with his own machine?
Pretty good Egghead representation.
And he's just played by a regular bald man.
Good. Not even a shaped head. No.
So, there you go. He's canonically dead in the MCU as well.
And we hardly knew ye.
we didn't appreciate you while you were here. But
I'm now getting a bit choked up actually thinking about all the time I've missed Egghead. He could have been in the MCU all along.
He could have remembered Peter Parker or something.
Oh, that would have been a good little plot twist. They're giving Peter Parker an arm for a little girl.
Yeah, just keeps cutting off arms.
That's a great report, Shaun. Much better than some of your other ones.
Thanks, bud. I'll take that. That's nice.
If you like what you heard, we've done hundreds of these episodes, covering lots of different characters in terms of DC and Marvel. As we said, we covered Jason Todd last week, but we cover like the small characters, big characters, everything in between. We also have a Patreon, which is down below. We recently reviewed Thor: The Dark World, and it is not very good to go back to watch.
Unlike Egghead, who's very good.
Kind of, yeah. So it's a Lazarus Pit series where we just go back and watch old movies and see if they hold up. Old, mostly superhero movies, and most of the time they're alright, but not Thor: The Dark World.
Not always.
Do you remember Blade? That was cool.
Blade was great when we watched Blade. Let's watch Blade again. It's nearly Halloween.
Let's watch Blade again. But yeah, so you can go head on over to the Patreon. You can support the show. You can give us a like and follow whatever podcast platform you're listening to this on. And most importantly, you can just tell one human being that we exist.
Just the one, please.
So I have been Conor Lawler.
I have been Sean Meehan.
And we shall see you all next week, guys.
Bye.
Bye.